Hey guys, how's it going? Figured I'd give you guys a little update. First in quite a while now. So, the Plymouth, I picked up coming up on a year now, I'd say roughly, since I unfortunately had an accident and the car suffered some damage. Kind of a mess right now between work and just focusing on trying to fix it. And as you can see, it's taken quite a beating. And the front fender hood is a different subject of matter, but both fenders took a beating. This one actually turned out the nicest out of both of them. The front bumper right now, doing the best I can given circumstances. Still enjoy the car. Runs fine. Right now it's getting cold out, so it's getting rather chilly for the car to run without a choke. Oh, there we go. So currently it has still the same old Chrysler 2.2. Starting to leak a little bit, unfortunately. All around here. Valve cover gasket. Heard it's common that these start to leak quite a bit. No EGR valve, so I gotta figure out a way to block this off because it, still leaks a little coolant. Seeps out of here. For the EGR valve, not sure why Plymouth decided to do that. Chrysler in general, but just put a brand new Griffin radiator in the past couple days. And because the old radiator I had, which was the same one before the accident, I put a new one in before, had one freak cold incident, or one freak cold day towards the end of, or beginning of this summer, and the water I had in there, because I had a bad lower radiator hose before, froze, and I literally took both this upper and the lowers out of my Supra. I robbed a lot of parts. This car is the car that I love. It keeps giving, my dream car. So I managed to take the front and lower radiator hose out of that car. This is still the original front radiator hose from the Supra I've been using for now to save on costs, because trying to get parts for these kind of cars are not cheap anymore. No bash bar at the moment due to the old one being completely mangled. I ended up taking that to the scrapyard. It was so brutally damaged, it ain't even funny. I just love this car so much, I can't see myself getting rid of it. Little structural damage on this corner here. It's a little bit more pushed in, doesn't really line up as good. But for now, it still works, gets me to work, A to B. I enjoy driving it, no matter what. I have the radiator core support straightened more than when it initially was in the accident. Running a Weber 3236 carburetor. Gets the job done. It's a lot more reliable than the original Holley carburetor that came on these, because it's a lot more simplistic to adjust and drive. Right now it's running a bit rich because of the way that it's getting cold out. I have it set a little to, especially on initial startup, to run pretty rich to keep the motor flowing at the moment. I fully rebuilt that carburetor twice at this point, just make sure everything's good. I did the big mistake and ran regular pump gas on this carburetor, which is hence why I had to rebuild it a few times. I run ethanol free on both my vehicles now. This one hasn't ran in 30 years. I'll touch base on that in another video. That's a long story on that one. But this has coilovers conversion from a Dodge Neon SRT4 ACR coils. They work great. They're definitely overkill for the front of this car. But I mean, like I said, it gets the job done, does what I need it to do, and it's fun. It actually handles pretty well with the weather. I actually do really like how this car handles. It's stiff enough to where you can trust this car taking corners um, at a high rate of speed compared to normal cars, at least. But at the same time, it's not so stiff that you can't that you'll feel every bump in the road like my other car, the Supra. Still running drums in the rear. It's got lowering springs in the rear as well. What brand, I don't know. This is how the upgrades are mostly from the previous owner I bought it off of. I'm running bigger brakes. I was told it was from off of Dodge Caravan 80s. But I kind of think it might be a neon front brakes. I'm not sure yet. I do got to replace those. The passenger side's a little bit warped. I would keep this flap on here just in case I had to take all the insulation off the top underneath the hood, because it all got, just started falling apart. This car is 37 years old at this point. So 87 for Pete's sake. But she does her due diligence and does what I need it to do. There's a plane flying over. But yeah, I mean, the moral of the story is, no matter how crappy or how much people might shit on your car. I go some places, and granted not often, because I just I'm in it to truly enjoy the drive in the car. I just take it to A to B usually. Sometimes I'll take it on a joyride. But it is what it is. I got alternator I might have to replace. I just put a new battery in for the winter. This, I'm not sure. Like, there's so much stuff that's been changed on this car. I don't know what, if it's even useful anymore. I got a leak back there. I have no clue what that's from. Not a single idea what it's from, what it's for, why it's even leaking from there. I got a few spots I got to weld up in the frame, on the frame rail, connecting to the fenders. You can see there's opening gaps here from the accident. Shock towers look a bit squished. But I'm not going to give up on the car, because I owned it for about a year now. And it's been a major pleasure to drive. I still probably would, like, if we're comparing this to, like, say a brand new daily commuter, for example, a cheap daily commuter, like, say, within the price range, I paid $3,000 for this. Say we got, like, I don't know, say a used 2005 Toyota Prius. Terrible, comparison, but you can't compare cars like this to that, because they're so fundamentally different. It's crazy. Like, it's unbelievable. I keep all my goods in the trunk just in case. I keep a bike. I like to go on bike rides every once in a while for exercise. I do have a little leak starting in the trunk, so I think I might be time to maybe do trunk seals, which shouldn't be that hard. They slip on and off. But I did notice I had some water here. Now it's all gone, surprisingly. Starting to rust a little bit from it. Yeah, it's original red interior car. There's some wires, I assume, for subwoofers. This car's been through quite a lot. I mean, it's not like it's immaculate. It has some wear. I mean, body panels are, or the interior panels, I should say, have seen some, rough times. I'm just doing my best to. I mean, it even came with like some cool old knickknacks from before I was born, essentially. I mean, we're talking some old stuff like foam extinguisher. I mean, I have no idea how old some of this stuff is, but you can tell it's not new. Some old instant tire sealer. And this is an old Rolls Royce bag. I mean, I got a full, complete old safety kit with like still like old band-aids. Just neat. I mean, I like the nostalgia part of this car too. There's so much little things, even though it may not be the prettiest, it's more of I still, regardless, enjoy to drive this thing, no matter what, because it's like, I don't know, something you really just can't explain in words. It's more or less you gotta experience cars like these to truly understand and find out what your viewpoint is. It is a 5-speed manual. 5-speed manual. I have got this pegged before, legibly. It was on a clean open road. Was great. But I obviously before the accident, now I gotta do the bumper, or get that reattached properly. The hood flops around a bit because the aerodynamics aren't all there anymore. Cigarette lighter still shockingly works after all these years. I mean, it's incredible. It really is incredible how a car this, as much I hate to say it, this speed up, still will give it its all. There's no sensors. It's very extremely analog. This car didn't come with a radio when I got it. I'm not sure. I know there's like a speaker port on the dashboard. Not so sure about that. This I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna probably try to invest in a plastic welder and try to save this dashboard before it gets too bad. I have the cover piece for this, the cover bezel. But as of right now, it's out of the car because, it's getting cold. And when this fell out, it actually fell off. And it's like when it gets that cold, you don't want to break any little tabbage or anything. So I just kind of try to keep it as bare bones as possible so I don't break anything else. I plan on fully restoring this car, of course, because it's been so long since, it happened, the accident happened about 8 months ago, I want to say. And since then, I just, still been driving it. I haven't really, I had problems. I didn't change the oil in a while because the oil drain plug got seized, corroded onto the oil pan. So it took me, I ended up driving this 8,000 miles till I could afford to have pay a welder to weld a nut onto the bolt and get the drain plug bolt out. I replaced the cap and rotors new. This is ignition coil out of the Supra I've been using. Just a universal basic ignition coil, because that car I am converting it. Still, after 3 years, I'm kind of converting it to run no computer at all, going to be all analog like this car. Kind of just love the simplicity of it. A lot of planes fly around here. We're right next to the airport, unfortunately, so sorry if that annoys you. But yeah, right now I just got it zip tied in. Brackets that came with the car are not gonna fit this radiator since I can't get the original radiator for this car anymore. So I'm just making do with whatever I can get my hands on to keep this car alive. It's a huge passion project, and you know, it's still running, still going just fine. No choke right now. I don't have the choke hooked up due to the flaps are kind of messed up right now. I gotta take the carburetor apart, the top half, and adjust the choke flaps. Probably have to replace them at this point. But yeah, she's been a true winner, a trooper. Oh, and she gets the job done no matter what. I mean, aesthetics. I mean, I never really complained too much before. I do whatever I can to keep the car at minimum going and running good. And you know, right now this is how it looks. I got headlights duct taped in right now. Thank God Walmart has really good weatherproof duct tape. That's what I used on the side numbers on this door when I took it to autocross. Granted, that was yellow. The sun's so harsh on this poor car that it's all of a sudden going like more of a tinted white, faded white. But yeah, she works. Nothing bolted in or nothing, but sides mounted. But you know, sometimes you just do what you gotta do. You know, everything's so expensive. I make work with what I got, and I treasure it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe I'll do an update. And probably, because I haven't really talked about much about this car here, maybe I'll do an update sometime soon. But thank you for watching. Have a good one.